Alright, am I the only one that feels kinda like, what the hell just happened? With this weekend, like, I feel like everything that I thought about football, lies, fraudulence, fiction, we got a new longest field goal in NFL history because kickers are amazing nowadays, Bills beat Kansas City in the regular season. Good, also kind of bad if you think about it a little bit. And the entire slate basically said, "Oh, you had predictions? Well, that's cute, at least for me." Some guys are hitting $92,000 parlays, but not this guy. So if you thought the season made sense last week when it was super boring, congratulations, you were like me, you were wrong, and now let's get into it. Okay, so I don't really understand what the fuck just happened this weekend. I feel like everything that I thought I knew about football was just off across the board. I could not apparently get a read on jack shit this weekend, and that's perfectly. I'm just looking at my DraftKings here, not affiliated, not a sponsor. Looking at my DraftKings here, I've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven parlays from Sunday's slate. That's from the 1 o'clock window all the way to Sunday Night Football. Seven parlays, not one of them hit, and some of them were off by a lot. Let's start with the Wild at 1 parlay. That's always the first parlay that I put together. It's my favorite plus money bets. It's not necessarily my favorite bets, but it's my favorite plus money bets that I throw onto one slip and I give that out. I've given that out. I think I started that in week 2, so I've given out 8 of those. We are now a very righteous 0-8, and that went it was a 3-pick parlay. I was 1 of 3 on that parlay. Absolutely brutal, and some of them one of them, granted, was a long shot, but the beats were just awful. So I had the Broncos money line in that one. Not the way I thought that game would go. I thought that game was gonna be a lot more in control on the Denver side of things just because I didn't think Houston would be able to keep up. I thought it'd be tight-ish because of the Texans and Broncos both have really good defenses, but I didn't think it was gonna be a field goal at the last second to win the game for the Broncos. I did not see that coming. Now the other 2 legs, not the craziest. Kamani Vidal, the Chargers running back whose name I don't know how to pronounce. Kimani Vidal. Fuck it. I had him for 80 rushing yards, which does seem like, oh, that's could be a hit or miss. That's, not a necessarily easy number to get to, except he was playing against the Tennessee Titans. So don't know what the fuck happened there, but he had, oh, let's see, 12 rushes for 30 yards. What? 12 rushes for 30 yards. That's 2.5 yards a carry. Didn't see that fucking coming. You know what I mean? And then I will admit the last leg on that was a little bit more of a reach. It was a Jonathan Taylor first touchdown score against the Steelers. Now, was that a bit of a stretch for this parlay? Maybe. It was a plus 300 plug, the highest out of everything on the Wild at 1 this weekend. But also, Daniel Jones scored the first touchdown of the game on on a 1-yard rush, like QB sneak or whatever the fuck it was, which is a not a bad Jonathan Taylor spot for him to be like, he could have gotten that carry. So that was a brutal beat. 2 things that I was just like, didn't see that fucking coming. So that sucked. And then just followed it up, 5 pick touchdown parlay, 0 guys hit on that. 5 pick parlay for just straight up money line winners. Now, the 2 that I thought were surprising on this, one of them we're gonna dive into a little bit more later on. I had the Lions to win, they fucking lost, and I had the Colts to win, and they lost. The Steelers did a surprising job against the Colts because the Colts, they got the first touchdown of the game, started, in a way that felt like, okay, business as usual. We're gonna go out. They're gonna be very in rhythm, score points, just chip away down the field, and eventually they're gonna get in the end zone or kick a field goal, whatever it is. That's what the Colts have been doing all season. And so they got that Daniel Jones touchdown and then just didn't do shit after that until the fourth quarter. Like the Steelers just shut them down. It made no sense at all. So I lost that one, 20-27. I did not see that coming. I don't know that many people did. I think a lot of people were on the Colts just because the Steelers have been a little disappointed, and then they go and drop 27 points on what I thought was the best team in the league. Frankly, the team that I thought the odds were only going to go down as Super Bowl contenders, so I bet them, last week as my Super Bowl pick because of the money. I thought the money was just gonna go less. I thought it was good value at plus 900 or whatever it was. I I mean, I'll check it right now, but if you look at it now, it's, gonna be a lot fucking higher, you know what I mean? If we look at it now, Indianapolis Colts plus 1,100. So it's not crazy money, but that's still, I mean, they come off a loss, they're gonna move down. That's how it goes. That makes sense. Since I have it up right now, Bills are now the betting favorite, plus 600 over the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, so fuck the Chiefs. Anyway, so it's just one of those things where you're like, "Yo, that doesn't make any sense." I don't think anyone saw that coming. I heard diehard Steelers fans who were like, I just gotta be smart with the money this week and take the Colts," and it's like, "Oh, fuck, man." So that was a brutal beat on that one. Jonathan Taylor didn't go for 60 yards. Thought that was crazy, obviously. And then Jahmyr Gibbs didn't go for 60 yards either. I thought he was gonna get that. Now, the Vikings don't give up a lot of touchdowns, but I thought this Lions team is different. It is not the same. They're gonna get ahead early. JJ McCarthy's back. I would say the Vikings haven't been super impressive outside of that. I did not watch this game, so it's very difficult for me to say, like, how JJ McCarthy looked outside of his stats. All I can do is go based on what I've heard, and what I've heard is that he's a fucking baller, so that's sick for him, but Jahmyr Gibbs didn't even get 60 yards, and that went completely against the game script that I thought was gonna go. Uh, fucking bet on the Giants. Jackson Dart, 6 plus rush attempts, but under 36.5 yards. That felt stupid after I played it, but I was like, the money's out there, so fuck it. And and then I had the Jaguars to go under 25.5 points. They scored 30. And I don't know if it would be considered a crazy comeback to win this game. I believe it was a field goal to win when they scored 30 points, 30-29. They're not the come on the back of the week. I have a much more interesting one than that, I think. But I thought they were gonna go under on the points too. I just didn't think they had that pop, and then they fucking spoiled me there. So all over the place, I was just I was not accurate. Things did not go how I thought they would at all, and that's just based on the bet slips. That's not even looking at, like, how games played out. So, Chargers and Tennessee, if you didn't catch that game, because why the fuck would you watch that game? It was gonna be a stomping. That's what I thought. That's why I didn't fucking watch it. And then I'm just checking my bets, and, oh, lo and behold, Tennessee's up 14-7 in the first quarter. And it's not because of what you think. It's not because the, fucking offense just fucking came alive all of a sudden. Justin Herbert threw a pick, which is a little bit uncharacteristic of him. He threw a pick that got returned for a touchdown. That was fucking wild. And then they punted the ball on the next I think they threw the pick, got the touchdown afterwards, and then punted on their next drive. So they were shutting down the offense of Tennessee because they had possession 3 times in the first quarter. So they're shutting down Tennessee, and they're losing this game because they punt the ball in the first quarter, and that gets returned like fucking something not like 67 yards or something like that for a touchdown. Like, I would never have guessed that that's how the game was gonna go. Now when you look at the rest of the way the rest of the script makes sense because, frankly, Tennessee didn't do shit after that for the rest of the game. Chargers end up winning like 27-20 or whatever it is. But it was still weird, like, in that first quarter to be like, Tennessee's up right now on the Chargers, on the Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert Chargers. It's one of those things I was like, yeah, that seems weird. Weirdest one of the weekend, Green Bay lost to Carolina. Now, for one, Carolina sucks on the road. They are horrible on the road. So this is Bryce Young's current record after this game in Green Bay, his current record. Based off memory, I did not look this up. He is 3-15 on the road. Bryce Young, quarterback of the Carolina Panthers, 3-15 in his career. They don't win on the road. It's crazy. Now, he's way better at home. I don't know what the home stats are because I don't care enough. But to be 3-15 on the road and go into Green Bay, not only did you cover a plus 13 spread, that means it probably opened, I don't know, fucking at 10. And people were so on Green Bay that it went all the way up to 13 points. And then Green Bay lost in a bit of a dogfight, 16-13. Green Bay couldn't put up more than 13 points at home. What are you doing? Just way to look awful, in all honesty. Like, I don't understand. And it's not like if you just look at the stats, again, didn't watch this game because I thought it was going to be a bad game. I thought it was going to be a blowout. Jordan Love, 273 yards. Josh Jacobs, 87 yards and a touchdown. Romeo Dobbs, 7 receptions for 91 yards. And then it falls way off. I mean, Christian Watson had 2 catches for 58 yards. They had some explosive plays, but just like, yo, what the fuck, dude? It made no sense at all. This is what I blame. I blame the uniforms. 100% blame the uniforms. Green Bay wore those, like, I don't know if it's a throwback. I don't know what category it falls under, either an alternate or a throwback, but where it's like the blue jersey and like the fucking brown pants or whatever. And then the design on the helmet looks like the old like leatherhead, not really a helmet that, you know what I'm talking about, from like the 1920s or whatever, when football was invented. When they put that leather cap on, it looks like that. That's why they lost. 100% that's why they lost. One of the worst uniforms in the league right now is that Green Bay alternate, whatever the fuck that is. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so ugly. It's disappointing how ugly it is, especially when you think of Green Bay as a franchise and you look back on their uniforms. They're one of those teams that feel like they have, like, just an old school kinda classic, this is this is, traditional football type of uniform. It's not like it's not one of these fucking rival uniforms that have mixed feelings about. It's not flashy or trying to be too cool, kinda like a Carolina Panthers uniform. There's no, like, bright, like, flashiness to it, no cool designs. It's very basic. Green jersey, yellow pants, fucking the yellow helmet, I believe is what they typically wear, but now I'm starting to second guess myself, and it looks good. Just picture Aaron Rodgers in his prime. That uniform looks good. Brett Favre in his prime, that uniform looks good. It's classic football, and then you go and you're like, "Let's be cool and let's do all these, like, fucking alternate uniforms," and they fucking suck. You deserve to lose that game if you're gonna dress like a fucking dweeb. You deserve to lose that game if you dress like a dweeb. That's how I feel about it. Is that fair? Maybe not, but fuck them. Like, you you gotta feel bad for your fans. You gotta feel bad for the fans. If I'm part of the ownership, whatever the fuck, I don't know how that works out there in Green Bay. They don't have, like, an actual owner. I've done 0 research on it. It's something like, I think if you pay taxes in Wisconsin, you own part of the Green Bay Packers or something. I don't know. But if you are an owner, it doesn't matter how small of an owner you have to do something to stop that uniform from ever being on the field again. It is disgusting. It's it's not disgusting. I hate the helmet. The helmet's by far the worst part, but it's just not a good it's not football, in my opinion. It's not football at all. It's so take, like, the Steelers, they have, like, those bumblebee uniforms. I hate those. Those are ugly. Those are super ugly, and I'm not saying every team is perfect, but the Steelers actually had they last week, they wore some ugly uniforms too. Different than the bumblebee ones, but those were fucking atrocious. So something is going on with these, like, old school teams because the Giants opened the regular season last year with an ugly uniform. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I remember seeing it and being like, "Jesus Christ." Now, is every team like that awful? Like, something with the traditional old school, like, these are classic football, traditional football teams like Green Bay, like, the Giants, like the Steelers, just old school. When you think of football, that's what you think of teams. They hitch their wagon onto these, like, just ugly throwback uniforms that are supposed to be, like, classic and nostalgic and, "Oh, look at us paying homage to the old days," and I'm like, "That's fucking I don't like them. Like, I don't like them at all, and maybe I'm a little but, like, there are some that are good. Like, I think the Patriots have a cool one if they whip out that old logo with, the guy, like, the soldier, like, snapping the ball or whatever. I think that those they're cool. There's something about it that is cool. There's a way you can do it to make it work, but there's also ways that when I look at them, I'm like, "Yo, it's just you deserve to lose football games if that's how you're gonna dress. You deserve it," and I think that's a mentality that impacts players. It's such a basic thing that they put it in, like, NBA 2K when you get to, like, pick your uniform and stuff, and it says it on the screen, "Oh, select your uniform because when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you play good." How do you expect your players to play good if you've got them going out onto the field collectively dressed like dorks? Like, I don't understand. How are you doing that? As a franchise, how do you let that happen? You can't. You have to solve that problem. You can't I'm done with the dork uniforms. I don't wanna see them anymore. I don't wanna see nerd jerseys, nothing. If you got a cool throwback, keep it. If you don't have a cool throwback, fix it and find a way to make it cool. I don't care if it's a design that never existed, it just looks like it could have in the past. That is fine, but stop with the dweeb uniforms. They're so bad. They're so, so bad. The dweeb uniforms need to come to an end. No dorks on the football field, okay? It's just no dorks on the sideline either. That's the problem with Mike McCarthy. He's a dork who's trying too hard to be cool, and now his team sucks. They put up points sometimes, but they suck. He's gonna be done at the end of the season. They just got their shit kicked by the Ravens, which is not a surprise to anyone on Thursday Night Football. But s- stop trying to make not cool stuff cool. We just want to see cool stuff. It's like in Madden now you have the option to put like that concussion cap, I don't remember what it's called, the Halo helmet, whatever thing. You get the big pad on your helmet that looks just like your helmet, but now you have a giant head. I think I heard in Madden, the newest one, you can add that on to your character, and I understand why they do it, and that why they do it is so that younger kids can see it on there and be more comfortable with how it looks, and that will lead to hopefully more people wearing them to protect themselves. It's to protect the future of football players. I totally understand why it happens, but I don't like the way it looks. I'm 27, almost 28. I'm not going to change. I'm an American. I'm dug in. I'm stuck in my ways, and I'll never change. So I understand why they do it for the future generations. We got to protect the kids. We got to protect people. It's a contact sport. We got to keep our brains healthy. I totally get why it happens. I think they're ugly and don't look cool, and I don't want them to have them on the field. I don't want to see them in the video game. If I'm playing in a video game, I'm not worried about the virtual create a character, Patty Blue Eyes getting a concussion. I'm worried about how many touchdowns did I throw this quarter because I'm trying to break a record that no one in human history could ever possibly touch. I'm trying to throw 100 touchdown passes in a season. I don't care about the concussions. I get why we are trying to normalize looking like a dork. And when it comes to safety, let's try and normalize looking like a dork. When it comes to just the way we look and it doesn't impact player safety at all, can we please, for the love of God, abandon the dweeb uniforms? No one likes them. The players don't like them. The fans don't like them. Why are we making them? If you do like the nerd uniforms, you like the Bumblebee Steelers, you like the Leatherhead Green Bay Packers, fine. Okay. You're wrong and an idiot, but fine. You're in the minority. I want teams to look cool. I want football players to look cool. These guys are the same age, slightly older than me or younger than me, and I look up to them as role models. I need my role models to look cool. I need my athletes to look cool and dope. Okay? That's what I need. That's what I want. So stop with the dweebness. Get out with the dorkness. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. You know who else is typically not that cool? Is kickers. But one of them did something that was actually I missed this I didn't think this would lead to anything. In the preseason, Jaguars kicker Cam Little kicked a field goal 70 yards. Now, it was not something that I thought about at the time. I was like, "Oh, that's cool," but it's a preseason game, so ultimately it doesn't really mean anything. So whatever, whatever. But now he set the NFL record. I believe it was 68 yards, maybe 68 and a half yards. I don't remember what the official ruling was, but it was something like that. Let me see if I can find it here real quick. Yes, sets NFL record 68-yard field goal. And that's cool that he did that. Okay? Big kick for a little man, Cam Little. Pun. Cool that he did that. But it does kind of make you think like, okay, do we need to change something about field goals? Like, does there have to? I don't even know I don't want to say get rid of them because obviously it's an important part of the game being able to get those 3 points. But like, if this is going to become a norm, because now it's almost like if your kicker can't hit from 50 plus 55 yards plus, then you need to get a different kicker. Um, do we narrow the field goal posts? Is really the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head of like what we could do to kind of narrow that gap down and bring it back to the normalcy of it. Because it's at a point where it's like your kicker has to be a like legitimate superhero. I mean, between on the Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey and Cam Little, these guys are young and they have monster legs and they're like dead accurate. It's like you can't say that they're like the greatest kickers of all time because you have to wait, like they have to accrue the career stats to land in that category. But between those two guys alone, just the past 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, these guys are, like, changing the way that we value kicking. And so it's kinda like the kickoffs where it's like, yeah, we need to make it more competitive somehow because the kickers are really good, so we're getting a lot of kickbacks. So it's like, okay, or touchbacks. So now it's like, okay, so let's create, like, a landing zone, and that way we'll get more exciting plays and the kickoffs will be worth more because now we're seeing more kickoffs return for touchdowns or just have better field position. And we've managed that and also cut down on the injuries by changing the way the players can run. And I think that's good, like the timing of everything. And that's good to get more exciting football. Um and I think you're getting these guys where, it almost feels like they're damn near guaranteed at 50 plus, 55 plus, that it's like, okay, the excitement's gone. So if they're gonna kick it from that far, maybe we narrow the posts, make it harder. You have to find a way to improve the game, and I think this is one of the next things that does it. I mean, they're gonna get away, like, I think the tush push is gonna be done after next year. They're gonna think of a way to do something, and I think it's gonna lean like too hard to officiate type of thing, which, hey, is what it is. It was a happy long run for Philly. Good on them. But they're gonna right after that, I think, is doing something to affect the field goal attempts and make them a just more interesting part of the game because now if you're you know 30, 35, 40, 45, like your team is expecting a guarantee on that. And so I think narrowing the field goal posts is a way to like it kind of cut down on that guarantee and just make it more exciting. You have to find ways to improve the game. Is that a for sure thing? I don't know. But that is the way that I think that one thing will be going. And so I gotta say the pat on the back of this week does go to Cam Little. I mean, for one, you set an NFL record, you're getting a pat on the back. For sure. For sure. You set one for kicking a ball further and more accurate than anyone else has done in the history of the game. Okay, I'll give that one to you. That's not like, oh, I had the longest return of all time or something like that, where it's a lot of things have to go right. This is everything went wrong against your team and they put it all on you, snap the ball, and you delivered for the team. And really, you're the only one who could do anything about it. That's a big pat on the back. So Jags kicker Cam Little set NFL record. That's a pat on the back. Good for you, my man. That was something else. Truly something else. I think it's gonna change the game here in the next couple years, if not sooner. But you deserve it while you got it, buddy. I don't think that's ever gonna change. I think that's gonna be yours for a long, long time until we start seeing somebody. Until we start letting steroids be legal, we're gonna see that record hold for a long, long time. Um, God, it was impressive, but not as impressive as the Bills' defeat of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's bittersweet for me as a proud member of Bills fandom. I would love to consider myself a member of Bills Mafia. I mean, I am a diehard Bills fan. This is the one distinction I think it has made is that I have yet to jump through a table at a Buffalo game. In Buffalo, I haven't jumped through a table at their stadium. And I think that is the one thing that is truly keeping me from being a part of Bills Mafia. I love the Bills. I would die for the Bills for sure. I would give everything for them. I love them so much, and I hate the Chiefs so much that I am glad we beat them. Now, when we did do it, Josh Allen looked spectacular all game. He looked so good. The the defense felt sharp against Mahomes. I'm not looking at any stats. This is just how it felt while the game was going on. They were bringing insane pressure, getting clean hits on Mahomes, shutting down receivers. We've that corner Hairston, Maxwell Hairston. He's so good. His back pedal is insanely fast. This guy is as quick as it gets. The defense, now that it was fairly healthy and everyone was in place for this game at the start of the game, that is designed to beat the Chiefs essentially, really, really felt like they delivered, and I would argue had one of their best games of the season against this Chiefs offense compared to what we've seen them do. I think they went like 3 or 4 weeks in a row scoring 28 points, something like that, and the Bills defense held them to 21. The most important part about that is that at the end of the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid down 7. The Chiefs are gonna have the ball last. Usually, Mahomes will find a way to win in those situations. Usually, the Bills, against the Chiefs in particular, have found ways to lose in those situations. Whether it's playing too soft a coverage, just flat out not having enough speed, bad play calls, whatever it may be, just flat out getting beat by Mahomes and Andy Reid late in games. The defense really showed up in this game and really felt like it was shutting him down late in the second half, late in the fourth quarter, and those are the times that the momentum has typically in these games shifted towards the Chiefs side because these guys just can't be stopped. Now we were getting a lot of pressures. Joey Bosa had a great game. I think he had like 5 hits on Mahomes. That's fucking sick. Um, and Maxwell Harrison played great. We bottled up the run fairly well. We've got the offense or the defensive line was looking just a lot better these past 2 weeks. I mean, we shut down Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard last week in Carolina, and between the two of them, mostly Rico, have been on a tear, putting up big numbers. We shut them down. Didn't really feel like the Chiefs were getting anything going on the ground to complement that pass game. So a lot of pressure on Mahomes in this game in a big spot. And does he shy away from that stuff? No. Is he an incredibly great player? Of course. It just not today. And the Bills offense did great. I think this was the first 100-yard rusher that the Chiefs defense has given up. James Cook is a animal. He is hard to stop. He's ready to roll, ready to rock every game out. I think he's outplayed his salary. And the way things have turned out, I don't know if I said this on the show before, but I've told people this, is that the only way I was comfortable getting rid of James Cook is because I wanted Cam Scatterboo because I watched him in college and I mean, you guys have seen him. He's a lunatic. Now he's injured, and that's unfortunate, and I don't wish injuries on anybody. However, I'm glad that that's not the situation that we are in right now. Cam is great. He's fun to watch. Scatterboo's a baller, but his play style does lend itself to getting hurt. Now, he got hurt on like some crazy ass play where he like dragged his foot and just fucked up his ankle on a pass play. But James Cook's ability to kind of like dive in and muscle when we need him to, but also bounce outside and use his more elusiveness when we need him to, his complementary style of play to the offensive line that Josh Allen, because we are a very much run first team with Joe Brady, which is perfectly fine. I am happy with it. I don't care. It, we'll talk about that in a second. I don't care that we're a run first team because it puts the pressure. No, I don't want to say it puts the pressure on someone else. It takes some of the pressure off Josh Allen, where he doesn't have to worry about, I've got to be the guy to go out and win this game. We can take a game like in Carolina last week. James Cook had like 236 yards or something like that. We don't need Josh Allen to come and be Superman against Carolina. So it's nice to have a guy who we can lean on because bad games happen. And it used to be that when Josh was playing poorly, the team was poor. But now Josh can have a little bit of an off game, and James Cook can pick up some of that slack, and he's going to play great. We just shift the way that the team engages with itself, and that is all really good stuff. I really do like that a lot. One of my favorite things about this rivalry, I consider, for me as a Bills fan, Bills Chiefs is the biggest rivalry. The Patriots are making a little bit of a comeback on that, but for me right now, it's Bills Chiefs, and then Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson right underneath that. It's been so great because of the difference in play styles, and I don't know that this is accurate. This is not, again, I'm not a stats guy. This isn't based on stats. It's about feeling of how the operations are run. The Bills blue collar, tough nose, run it down your throat, just I'm tougher than you, I'm bigger, I'm stronger, bang, bang, bang style of play is very fun to watch in contrast to the Chiefs style of play, which is very much more speed, motion, distraction, getting explosive, very exciting plays. So the way that those two teams come together and play against each other is a fantastic watch if you are just a fan of football. The way these guys play and the reason that their records against each other are damn near 500 at this point. I don't remember exactly. I think it's Josh's. I think the Bills are 5-1 in the regular season, and the Chiefs are like 4-0 in the postseason. So it's 5-5 wins exactly. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, so the reason it's so dead split and that it's so much fun is because the play styles contradict each other so well, and the 2 teams execute at such high levels that it's just exciting to watch, and if you like good football, Bills versus Chiefs, doesn't matter where it's played, it's always going to be good football every single time out. I've never watched one of these games and I've been disappointed in the result. I've never been disappointed in, if I'm to take a step back and outside of being a fan, and been disappointed in the product that I was watching. Now, if you're as a Bills fan, I've been fucking furious, absolutely furious with how my team has played. I've also been completely overjoyed with how they've executed. And that happens. That's part of being a fan. When you've got 2 top teams, top quarterbacks, top organizations playing against each other, that's what happens. But the play styles contradict each other so much. I think it really is one of the things that makes this rivalry for me really feel like a great one, because it's not just that it's the 2 great quarterbacks, but it's the 2 great energies and tones of the team, where the Bills to me feel very blue collar and the Chiefs just don't, not that they feel like high end or anything like that. Well, now with Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes, maybe they are all these Super Bowl rings, but it does feel like a very like grittiness versus flash, and they're both doing it the best that they can do it, and it's fun to watch every time out. This game was no different. It was incredibly exciting to watch the Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season. I know I've talked about this game for a while, but my concern with this win for the Bills is that I almost wanted the Bills to lose to change the trend and to change the narrative, because for years now it has been that the Bills beat the Chiefs in the playoff, or beat the Chiefs in the regular season and then lose to the Chiefs in the playoffs. And it's happened, I mean, 4 times. 5 wins out of 6 games in the regular season, 4 wins out of 4 for the Chiefs, 4 wins in the playoffs. So I almost wanted to see a loss today because it goes against the grain, kinda similar to what I was looking at, last week before with the Carolina Panthers, when I was like, "Okay, the Panthers just won their first game on the road. That's good for us because that breaks the trend." If they had lost on the road, I would have been much more worried about that game because Carolina doesn't lose at home, but that they lost on the road, or they won on the road, which means they could lose at home. The trend is broken, which is very similar to how I felt about this game. I don't know if this is making sense. If the Bills had lost during the regular season, I almost would have liked their chances to win in the playoffs more because it flips the narrative. It's contradictory to what we've been seeing, and what we've needed the past few years has just been like, we need some kind of change. And I think this type of change like that could have lent itself to that. Am I happy we beat the Chiefs every single fucking time? But I would be lying if I said this thought of trends wasn't in the back, like it was in the back of my mind before the game started and after the game ended. During the game, I'm all Bills, let's beat the Chiefs 100%. Fuck the Chiefs. I genuinely hate them so much. But this was, it's just something that I was floating around with because I was like, I want the Bills to beat them in the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl so much that I would be willing to trade the regular season win to let that happen 100%. So is it like a weird thing in my brain? Maybe, but trend wise, narratively, whatever the fuck that shit's called, that's what I wanted to see happen because that's what I thought was like, or what I still might think is like, this is why. I think we've played these guys like, oh, well, now we're 6-1 now that I'm thinking about it in the regular season. I think we've played these guys like 6 years in a row or 7 years in a row now in the regular season. and obviously we've won most of those games, but then they keep beating us in the playoffs. So it's just you just wanna see changes, when something keeps not working, you wanna see a difference, and sometimes that difference isn't what you expect. Sometimes that difference is, "Oh, we lost here, but we might win later." So it's big brain, like, like, I'm thinking, like, galaxy brain type of thought process on this, but I am slightly more worried now going into the playoffs that the Chiefs could beat the Bills in the playoffs. Now, if the playoffs ended today, Chiefs are out of the playoffs. I don't give a fuck. I'm glad they're out. They deserve to not make the playoffs for once. But we know how the season's gonna go. They're looking sharp, they're looking good. They're gonna get back, probably win a couple more games, most likely, and eke their way into the playoffs, and then they're better there than anybody else is, and that's including, like, Philadelphia or Green Bay or whatever. Green Bay's such a disappointment. Can't believe that I thought they were a monster going into the season. They're fucking dog shit. They lost to Cleveland and Carolina. That's a fraudulent team. Green Bay frauds of the week for sure. Probably frauds of the season. But yeah, so I am a little bit worried about the Bills beating the Chiefs in the playoffs just because it feels like something that we've seen before. I hope I'm wrong, and I think the Bills will win. I'm just slightly more concerned about it because of the narrative that we've seen in the past. Am I overthinking that? Probably. Am I galaxy braining? Probably. But I'd be lying if I said that it wasn't on my mind. We're gonna move on to we're gonna do Sunday Night Football real quick, and then the come on the back. Uh, Kinda, like, move through, wrap this episode up a little bit here, so we can sit down and watch just an amazing Monday Night Football game of the Dallas Cowboys versus the Arizona Cardinals. Holy shit, that's gonna be exciting. Anyway, Sunday Night Football, Seahawks are a dominant force to be reckoned with. Didn't lose my bet I had on them because, had AJ Barner to score a touchdown, and he did, but he used it in he got it on the play that I kinda needed Zach Charbonnet to get a touchdown on, so that kinda sucked. I had both them to score, but it's a good thing that their backup tight end had 1 catch for 56 yards that he took to the house. That really screwed me there. You really screwed me there, Seattle. Oh, fuck you, Sam Darnold. Fuck you. But Sam Darnold played great. Not much to say on their end. They're just so good. They're so good, and frankly, the commies, their defense is just too old. They're too banged up as a whole team. Jaden Daniels got hurt again, and I saw a picture of it. I'm glad that I don't know what I was doing. It was such a blowout. I think I stopped watching it. I was, brushing my teeth or something dumb when the injury happened, and then I saw people's reaction to it on Twitter, and I was, like, glad I saw a picture of it and not watched it because it's just a dislocated elbow, which, that doesn't sound good to be like, "Oh, that's just," but there's, like, no tearing or breaks or anything, no fractures, so that stuff is good. The dislocation is horrifying to watch. His arm just goes the complete wrong direction, and frankly, I feel bad for Jaden Daniels. I said I thought he would have a sophomore slump this season just because the schedule got insanely harder. Teams that's a lot of times how it goes where you're playing worse teams and you're really good, and then you come in your second year, you're playing better teams who have a little more tape on you, so they solve you, and then you just have to adapt your game in year 3, you have a bounce back. I thought Jaden Daniels was gonna have a sophomore slump. I never thought it was gonna be this is the worst sophomore slump I've ever seen. Now, have there probably been ones where guys got knocked out in the first game and didn't play for the season, like Michael Jordan in his second year. Yeah, those things happen. But this one's bad because it's like, oh, he's hurt and he's back in, he plays poorly, and then he gets hurt again. And he's back in and he plays poorly and he gets hurt again. And now he's going to be out for like, what, 5, 6 more weeks, whatever it is with this injury. I don't know exactly. I'm not a doctor, obviously. And it's just like that. You just feel bad for the guy and you feel bad for the team because they're got injuries across the board. All their best guys seem like they're hurt. Every key player that they could have that they should invest in just can't stay on the field. They can't stay healthy. And that really sucks. But then it's like you guys play poorly because of injuries, but then it almost seems like the injuries are leading to the poor play, or at least for Jaden Daniels, because he's feeling like he has to do so much. But he's been so in and out of the lineup that he hasn't built the cohesiveness with some of the other dudes on the roster. Some of the, like Terry McLaurin's great, but if he's not playing, then it's Debo Samuel. He doesn't quite have the rapport with Debo Samuel, Luke McCaffrey, some of these other guys whose names I don't even fucking know, where you just have to build that rhythm with him, but he can't stay on the field, so he's not building that rhythm. But because he's not building that rhythm, he's taking more risks because he's trying to win games because they're losing. And that leads to him getting hurt. So it's a vicious, vicious cycle of what I do consider to be probably the worst sophomore slump of all time, because it's almost not on him. His body is just letting him down, which is leading to him performing poorly. And he just can't get out of his own way. When his injury's coming up due to an end, again, it's gonna be 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is, I think you see what you got left on the schedule, and maybe you just for the year, just keep him healthy if you're not gonna make the playoffs, because you can't keep putting him out there because it's not working. It's not working, and you can't afford for him to keep getting hurt is really and also a big concern there, that he's just gonna keep getting hurt, and no one wants that. We don't root for injuries. I don't root for injuries. Football fans in general don't root for injuries, um, and this has become one that it's really kinda sad, especially when you think of Washington and, RG3, who was miraculous, and then he had a career-altering injury, and you don't wanna see that happen to him again, to another great player who's very exciting, in not the same way, but in a similar fashion of just, like, a brutal injury made him a different player. You don't wanna see that with Jane Daniels. I feel bad for him. He's a great dude. He's very positive. He's a great player, and I feel bad for, Commanders fans, because what a tough spot to be in. That it's absolutely brutal to keep seeing this guy who brought you so much hope last season to just keep getting fucking cut down. And sometimes that's how it goes, but it just the one after another of it all. 10 weeks in and he's had like 3 separate injuries. It's just tough. It's hard to watch. You feel bad for the kid. Again, great player, great guy, great dude. So, hopefully speedy recovery on that, and let's hope that that's it for the injuries this year. Whichever way it takes for that to be accomplished, that means you're gonna be out of the playoffs, so you shut him down. I think that's the right choice. If that means he comes back because you guys are in the hunt and he just stays healthy, I think that's great too, but let's mitigate these risks. There's no reason that your starting quarterback should have been in the game with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter when you're losing 38-7. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened there from the coaching staff. Not a single person said shit about it. Jaden Daniels didn't say shit about it. Be like, yo, why am I in the game right now? So that injury is 100% on the head coach. And frankly, it's on the rest of the coaching staff too. Everyone, the quarterback coach, the offensive coordinator, everybody, you let that young man down. So fuck you guys. Be better. You got to be better than that. We are going to close this episode out with the come on the back of the week. This is a little bit of a different one that I've put together, because I didn't really see any comebacks where I was like, oh, that was super impressive. But this one kind of stuck out to me because I thought it was very interesting. So, if we look at JJ McCarthy, he came back from an injury. They were rolling with Carson Wentz. The Vikings were rolling with Carson Wentz for a couple weeks. He fucking sucked. JJ McCarthy, they finally decided he's healthy, couldn't protect him anymore. Now, when he played Chicago September 8th, Vikings won that game 27-24. And this was his stat line. JJ McCarthy threw 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Now, yesterday, November 2nd, they play the Lions. Minnesota wins that game 27-24. JJ McCarthy throws 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. He won the game, both start and finish games, I believe, because I think he played in a third one. Okay, so both his wins, I should say, are more accurate. Both his wins, one against Chicago, one yesterday against Detroit. Both were won 27-24, and he had the same stat line in both of them, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. A hell of a comeback, if I'm being honest. Just didn't see that coming at all. Thought he was going to perform somewhat poorly. He didn't blow you out of the water, but him having the same exact stat line to win a game with the same exact score in just he played 3 games, 2 of them are wins. He's 2-1 as a starter, and the 2 wins, it's everything is the same. That's crazy. That's a weird way to come back, especially because when he played against Chicago, that was week 1. He was injured last season. He plays in week 1, gets the 143, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 27-24. Gets out with an injury, comes back from the injury, wins the game 27-24, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Very weird, interesting comeback, but officially, JJ McCarthy, you are the come on the back of the week. What an anomaly of a stat line. That's the biggest comeback that blew me away, is that he returned and did the same exact thing he did the last time he won a game, coming off an injury. Very weird, very kind of cool. This award usually goes to a team. I think once we had it on Russell Wilson as a joke. This one is a little bit, this is JJ, it's fucking crazy. And now officially the Vikings are the only guys to have 2 players win the come on the back, and the team has never won it. So that's even crazier. But yeah, it's just out of nowhere. JJ McCarthy, he's a dog. He doesn't put up gaudy numbers, at least not right now, but they're winning games when he plays, it seems. And he doesn't look good doing it, but he finds a way to do it, as far as I can tell. But that's the show today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Pat O'Connor, Patty Blue Eyes, whatever you want to call it. Who gives a fuck? No one's listening to this. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy the show, I do a comedy podcast called Rudy Tuesday. Go check that out. That's me, Breck Michael, Rudy Marinosi. That drops every Tuesday. We've got new episodes here every Wednesday as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. You've been absolutely great. Go follow us on Twitter before I forget. Go follow us on Twitter, Pat in the Back 25. We've got a lot of takes that go up there that don't always necessarily make it to the show, sometimes in the moment stuff, but for a little bit more additional content, even if you just like the show, you want to show some support, go check us out over there. All right. Love you guys.